Donald Igwebuike setting to kick off to start the second half from Death Valley. Igwebuike has had 32 of 44 kickoffs non-returnable. McKellar is back at his own goal line waiting now for the official indication. McKellar also getting the kickoff chores for Wake Forest with the injury to Newsom. Igwebuike comes forward and a low liner away from the single safety, and it rolls through. Nice strategy. Although he could do it either way.
Yeah, he just changed it up that time. Instead of kicking it over him, he kicked it wide of him. Donald Igwebuike right there, and he gets a pat on the head. A great weapon to have on any football team.
Wake Forest now, the first series of the second half. It's all tied at 10-10. Schofield at quarterback. Doherty at fullback, and Clemens is the tailback. Pitch back goes to Clemens. Clemens making his way for a gain of 3 yards in a play before Keith Williams out of his linebacker spot making the stop. 220-pound freshman. He's 6'4", and what a future he has as well. He started the year as a starter, and then Eldridge Milton just beat him out.
Linebacking, thought to be maybe a weakness for Clemson, has turned out to be one of the strengths of the defense.
Tim Ryan is split to the near side on a 2nd and 6 at the 24. Looking for his halfback. He goes to Ryan, though, and it's tipped up into the air and taken out of the air by Tyrone Davis. His 4th interception of the year. Ryan off his fingertips. So Clemson starts the second half with a great break, and let's see if they can take advantage of it.
We saw Robinson last week deflect the pass, 2 weeks ago against Duke, deflect the pass. Now watch him here. He's going to try to get in. He can't. He gets up. Schofield throws the ball over that hand. And the end of that play, as we'll see, you can see it there, is he has to throw it high. The end of that play is that Ryan can't quite get to it. How important is the defensive lineman hands up? You judge yourself.
Clemson from the 34. Kevin Mack, the fullback on the carry, and a good gain. Mack has been so valuable this year. Second down after the gain of a little more than 5 yards. They're going to give him officially 6, so make it 4 yards to go for the first down from the 28. Rolak and Butler, the wide receivers. Mack, in only 3 carries, now has 23 yards. Flowers on the ball carry. He's met at the 27-yard line by Bruce Mark.
That was good tackle by Bruce Mark. One of the strengths of the Demon Deacon front wall is Bruce Mark. He's an excellent defensive tackle, and you saw there why he is, as he stood Flowers up and stopped him for no gain. We talked about the third quarter being very important to Clemson. They don't want to go into the fourth quarter behind in this game and have to throw. The strength of the Wake Forest defense is the great second.
Williams is split to the far side on a 3rd and 3 at the 22. Epley on the option. Wisely kept the ball. Gets the first down. Boy, they loaded up on the tail man. They loaded up on Flowers as he was going to the far side for a possible pitch.
Well, you see a double pump here by Mack. They fake to Mack right away. Now watch him get a little screen block there. It's not even a block, not a cruncher, but it's enough to get Epley free. Good play by Kevin Mack as he picks up enough for a first down. Block there on Hairston, the linebacker, as he tried to get in. Mack made the play.
Epley, his 3rd rush for 9 yards. He hits the pitchman. Flowers, oh, what a sidestep, and he goes inside the 10-yard line down to the 5. McCummings making the stop.
Great play by the quarterback on the option there, and the pitchman, Flowers. Had one eye on the ball, the other eye on the guy coming after him, Epley. Good defense there, but Epley gets it to Flowers, and Flowers catches it, makes the move at the same time inside the 10 down to the 6-yard line.
Flowers making a heck of a move on John Piedmont that time. He had 63 yards last Saturday, 456 yards for the season coming into the game. That's the 2nd most yards for a Clemson freshman in the history of Clemson football. Flowers Shows a little bit of power that time as he was hit at the line of scrimmage. Singleton finally put the stop on him. Tony Scott got an initial hit, but Flowers leaned forward for some extra yards.
Wake Forest offense conservative the whole game. They come out in the second half, try throwing downfield in their own territory, something they hadn't done. It backfired immediately with a turnover, and this drive the result of that turnover.
Well, they were taking your halftime advice, Kevin.
Yeah, that's why I'm up here.
Second and goal at the 3. Epley, beautiful fake to Flowers to Bowen, touchdown. What a great tight end to go to down near that goal line. Steve Reese with a fine job of blocking that time for Epley on the roll. And Clemson immediately taking advantage of the break they received from Wake Forest.
Dunn doesn't catch many. He had 10 coming into this game, but for 163 yards and 2 TDs, that was his third. He gets the big ones. Pollock's kick is up, and it is good. Let's check out the play once again. Play action to the top of your screen. That's to hold the defense there. Dunn is dragging now. He's released from the top of the screen, dragging across the field in the back of the end zone. That's the result of the play action right there. As you hold the defense, get your tight end loose. Always the big tight end on the goal line. You have to watch him. Dunn with 11 receptions this year. He had a touchdown catch against Wake Forest last year. With the score, Clemson 17, Wake Forest 10. We'll pause now from a local station. To the 61st straight point after touchdown kick by Pauling. Igwebuike to kick off now with 11:33 remaining third quarter. They will not run it out. Let's take a look at that touchdown play once again, Kevin. All right, tight end always. Goal line defense, you have to think about coming first. The play action holds everybody. Now Epley knows Dunn is dragging across the field, just lays it up because he's wide open. Almost gets a field goal there as it just misses the upright. Back of the end zone, touchdown Clemson. They lead by 7. So after the pass interception, Clemson moving 34 yards in 7 plays, capped off by the 3-yard touchdown pass to regain the lead 17-10. Wake Forest from their 20-yard line. Once again, Ramshear from the tailback spot. Despite the fact that classes are out here at Clemson, 66,000 fans at this afternoon's ball game. James Robinson making the stop on Ramshear. Number 20 in the huddle. Number 3 is David Richmond, a wide receiver. Important possession here for the offense. They need to keep their defense off the field. Let's see how they go about it. 2nd and 8 from the 22. Schofield, the deep drop. What great pursuit and coverage that time. Eldridge Milton getting an initial hit. Pickett made the play. It was Pickett all the way. Great defense by Pickett, number 42. Milton made the tackle, Art, you're right. But watch number 42. This is a screen all the way. Schofield wants to throw a screen, but at this point, number 42, Pickett has coverage. He's standing right there. See him? And now he's in perfect position to make the tackle. Gets the first hit, defense catches up, and you can't do any better than that. Dwayne Owens had nowhere to run as Robinson and Pickett did the job. 3rd and 15 out the 15-yard line, and we had Devane as well as Robinson jumping there. We'll see if they were drawn off. Schofield is 10 out of 14 for 69 yards, but 2 interceptions. This happened many times. Happened against NC State. Happened a great deal against Duke with Bennett at quarterback. You don't, when you're playing defense, you're not supposed to listen to the count. You have one eye on the ball. The only thing that you go on is movement from the offense. If he staggers the count, you don't listen. Clemson has been charged with 43 yards in penalties in this game. 10-10 remaining third quarter. Schofield back to pass. He's had it all along at the 38-yard line, and he's brought down David Richmond, number 3 from Greensboro, North Carolina. Let me show you why he was open here. Walls, the linebacker, had that coverage. He went across the field. As a fellow, one of the receivers will drag right in front of Henry Walls. Now watch Walls here. This is right where the ball is thrown on this line. Now Walls, see you have a release across the field. Walls goes with him, and to his backside the ball goes wide open. See it? Now, Walls would have been right in the line of fire had he not had coverage across the field.
First down from the 37-yard line. It's back to the tailback, and Ramshure gets a nice initial opening and takes the most of it to the 44-yard line when Ray Brown met him there.
That was a big completion by Schofield. Get that first down, keep the defense off the field. Wake's obvious plan today is to keep their defensive unit out of the game as much as possible. Give them a rest. Let the offense control the game. Yards passing, Wake Forest leading by 1 in the game.
2nd and 4 at the 44. And off to the inside to Clemens. Henry Walls, just one of the many. And William Perry, number 66.
Oh, you've got that big front four for Clemson. They do get a decent pass rush. And Wake Forest, Al Groh, the head coach, trying to run the ball, trying to change things up, keep that Clemson front from turning it loose, laying their ears back, and coming at Schofield. He knows late in the game it'll pay off.
Berlin, Perry, Brown, all up front for Clemson now on the 3rd and 4 from the 43. The bullet pass is completed that time to Tim Ryan. Ryan with great hands, makes a good target too. He plays taller than 6'3", Kevin.
Let's just take a look at this. Look at Berlin, number 76. This Wake Forest offensive line is terrific. Look at the hitting there. Stopping, pushing to the side, giving Schofield the time he needs to complete an excellent pass. Watch the throw. There's good coverage here by Clemson. That ball's right in the face of the receiver. Davis on the coverage, McSwain with help, but Ryan pulls it down.
Tim Ryan is split to the far side. It's Chambers on the wing. Chambers almost collides with his quarterback. Gets the ball away. Nice catch by Clemens. I should say Ramshure. And Ramshure is pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line by linebacker Eldridge Milton.
You wonder why quarterbacks get paid so much in the pros? This is why. When things go bad, they're supposed to make it right. And Schofield does right here. He almost gets run down by his own man, but he has the presence of mind to hit Ramshure for a big gain.
Clemson by 7, but Wake Forest on the drive with 7:52 remaining third quarter. Schofield now with 114 yards through the air. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line for the Deacons. Handoff goes to Clemens. Clemens cutting inside nicely for a 5-yard gain on the first down play before William Devane meets him. Rod McSwain coming up from the secondary.
That was the old student body left. And they picked up 5 yards. They're doing what they have to do, the Deacons, to stay in the game. They're down 7, but driving.
They had the ball almost 2 minutes more than Clemson in the first half. Tied 10-10 at the time. Now Clemson 17-10. Ball placement at the 25-yard line. Good hole, good opening, good speed that time by Clemens. Clemens finally brought down at the 10-yard line.
That was a blitz up the middle there. A lot of movement by Clemson trying to get to Schofield. A blitz and a perfect play called as they handed off a quick hitter off the right side.
Tyrone Davis making the tackle.
We're in that tough area now, and this is a big, big series for Wake Forest. 10 yards to go for a touchdown. The defense has less room to cover.
Schofield on the handoff. Ramshure is met by Edgar Pickett.
Pickett and Robinson on the inside doing a nice job holding the block off. Pickett's playing extremely well today, playing a good game, and the intensity level of the Clemson defense and the crowd is starting to pick up. Dan Ford knows he's in a battle.
Just getting back to the line of scrimmage, where it'll be 2nd down and 6:20 on the clock here in the third quarter. You've got Ryan to the near side. Diamond Richmond is to the far side. That's Ryan. Nice tough catch, and he takes it down to the 1-yard line.
We talked about Doherty right there. He doesn't get the ball much, but when he does, it's a big play. Good blocking here by the offensive line, and a good block on Pickett. Now watch this. This ball is almost picked off. Just a hair late as Doherty comes up with the tough. I mean, that's great concentration by a fullback right there. Dan Doherty doesn't get the ball much, but he's there when you need him. And this guy's no ballet dancer. I'm telling you, 230 pounds to be able to catch like that, pretty tough.
Got an injury down on the field, and it would be a very important one should he not recover Ken McAllister, the right guard from Jacksonville, North Carolina, 6'2", 260-pound junior. That veteran offensive lineman is a key to Schofield's effectiveness.
That's a big kid.
6 minutes, 2 seconds remaining, third quarter. Wake Forest knocking at the door right now. Third down and 1 yard to go.
That almost picked that ball off on the goal line. Good defense. You have to try when you're that close, and they're that close inside the 10. You have to try and pick those things off, and Watson almost had it.
Clemson puts the big bodies up front. You've got Doherty and Clemens, the running backs. Schofield looks to pass. Good defensive coverage was the key there. He wanted to let it go to Doherty out of the backfield. And it gave Roy Brown, the bandit, time to come pouring through.
3rd and a yard. Why do you put your big man in motion? They put their fullback in motion. He's out of the play now. Schofield wants to go to him. He doesn't have anybody. And that's the result. That's supposed to be a quick play. They're not supposed to cover Doherty. Look at this. Now, the play action is useless because if you're going to go power, you're going to use your fullback. He's already out of the play. And there's the pressure. Robinson coming in second. Brown, the first man. And then everybody else to clean up. It's going to be a field goal try now for Wake Forest when they had 2 shots inside the 2-yard line for a touchdown.
Rod McSwain smartly going with the fullback and staying with him so they couldn't get a quick release on the pass.
That was the play. You called it exactly right. It was going to be a little flare pass to Doherty.
Danny Nolan in to try the field goal attempt. Nolan is 4 out of 4 in field goals this year. His holder will be Al Dickens, a sophomore quarterback from Charlotte. Jeff Cook is their snapper, a tight end, a sophomore from Concord, New York.
I think Wake probably expected Doherty to be wide open because they figured the pass would be a surprise, and it was, except that Doherty was would be the man that Clemson expected to get the ball in that situation, not the smaller tailback.
Wake Forest wanting to get points out of this drive with 5:21 remaining still in the third quarter. Ball placement at the 17-yard line. It is up, and it is no good. Rod McSwain with good rushing pressure that time. So for the second week in a row, Kevin, a key field goal try is missed by the opponents.
Well, you know, he's kicking it from the right hash, and you do expect those things to have spin and to curve. That ball, from this angle, looks like it's very close to the upright, but the official called it no.
From the 20-yard line, Epley. Beautiful fake comes to Rulak on the near side. He's got an opening, and nice cut at the 36-yard line. Gets it down to the 41-yard line. K.D. Dunn with a beautiful block to allow Rulak to proceed.
This is what Clemson does so much better than they did early in the year, and the reason is Epley. Look how secure he is. He rifles it out there. Rulak has plenty of room to work. The defensive back on this side knows he's in trouble right away. He's fighting the block. See him up here? Number 25 trying to hold him off. That's what gave the defense, Ronnie Burgess there, that's what gave the defense time to come from the inside and at least put Rulak down at the 40-yard line instead of maybe deep in Wake Forest territory.
Tony Scott, the junior linebacker, is the player injured, and as we mentioned right at the beginning of the telecast, Kevin, depth is a problem with Wake Forest, and there you see another. It looks like their big right tackle Tim Sally is also down on the play. Looks like Sally's all right though, but depth is a problem should we get injuries for Wake Forest.
Scott is also up. Absolutely, defensively, Wake Forest has some problems. In fact, they've used the red shirt. They have been known to redshirt a player in his senior year and keep him around for another year just to balance out their team and keep leadership. I mean, Al Groh knows that with a campus of 2,900 students, he has very precious few to work with, and he's trying to spread his team out over a few years and gain some depth. Major college football, you need it.
Rulak getting the first down, taking the ball to the 41-yard line. Epley is going to have to take his receivers out to dinner. He's got 106 yards through the air so far. Williams in motion. 4:50 remaining third quarter. Epley hands off to the front man in that I formation, Kevin Mack. Mack is met by Hodgkins.
Tackle made by Hudson.
Mike Hodgins from Ohio. He's 6'5", a 241-pound senior.
A lot of credit has to go to Gary Balding, or his brother, who played at Wake Forest, is with the New York Giants. He's only 239 pounds, done a remarkable job at nose guard.
2nd down and 8 now for Clemson at the 43. That's Rulak in motion. Goes back to Flowers. Flowers getting some nice blocking. Dives toward a first down. James Farr once again throwing a nice block on the play.
Kenny Flowers likes to leave his feet. There he is. And defensive players like to play against backs that like to leave their feet. Lideker, Steve came in and made that hit. You love to catch him up in the air, especially the big ones. They don't weigh so much when they're flying through the air.
Flowers in 9 carries has 36 yards. The fullback, the up man in the eye right now, Mack, has carried 4 times for 25. 3rd and 2 at the 49-yard line. That's Mack. Well, Mack is a strong runner, but he's not that strong, and they met him head on, and coming up from the strong safety spot to help out was Donald Johnson.
Piedmont in on that play too, and remember the leading tackler on this team for Wake Forest is Reggie McCummings, and he's a safety, so the defensive backfield does come up quickly.
McCummings going back to receive the punt by Hatcher, and another oohing and awing punt. Beautiful punt. They're going to mark it at the 15-yard line. Hatcher in his 2 previous punts averaged 51 yards. This is Art Ekman with Kevin Kiley from Memorial Stadium in Clemson. We're in the 3rd quarter with the score: Clemson 17, Wake Forest 10. First and 10, Wake Forest. They had 5 seconds of hang time on Hatcher's punt. William Perry making the stop on Ramsher.
Wake Forest, a little air taken out of them. They had that last drive, went all the way down the field. 3rd down, inside the 2-yard line. They get thrown back and miss the field goal. In a situation like this, Death Valley, 18 games without a loss. Clemson is on a roll. Wake Forest would love to have this one. That takes a lot of air out of you. They need to hold the ball offensively.
2nd down and 7 from the 18-yard line. No chance at all. William Perry got on Ramsher in the backfield. Perry has like 4 quarterback sacks. Also leads the team in tackles for losses. That's the 12th time he's been able to catch a runner behind the line.
Mike Nessalt, number 74, is the center. He's supposed to get across Perry's face. He doesn't. This is the result. You don't want William Perry running around loose.
Perry was even 2-teamed that time. Nessalt and Sherrod both trying to keep him, but he got a good strong angle on the play. So it's 3rd and 9 from the 16-yard line. Berlin doing a little jumping there. Gets back in time. Schofield quickly. First down yardage. Loosely played in the secondary was David Richmond, and Richmond had the first down easily once he got the ball. Reggie Pleasant defensively to put him out of bounds.
Find yourself waiting for Schofield to open up in this game. He is a tremendous passer, has played some remarkable games, is the only passer in Wake Forest history to pass consecutively 3 Saturdays for 300 yards. He's nothing close to that today, and we kind of expect him to open up shortly.
The corners, Tyrone Davis and Reggie Pleasant for Clemson on a 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Clemens, the ball carrier, close to another first down. Terrence Mack, the bandit, making the tackle.
Good quick hitter that time up the middle of the Clemson defense, and Wake Forest again on the move.
So another first down. Ken Brown comes in at defensive end from Hartwell, Georgia. Replacing the bandit, Terrence Mack. So Schofield brings his troops to the line at the 38-yard line. Lone remaining running back is caught by the linebacker. Chucky Richardson puts the clamps on Clemens that time. Chucky coming into the game with 22 tackles from his linebacker spot. He's a junior, 2-year letterman.
Pick up a 2-yard
So it'll be 2nd and 8 now for Wake Forest from the 40-yard line. Three wide receivers and a wingback in this formation on the 2nd and 8. Schofield with all kinds of time dumps it off now to Chambers, and David Chambers still on his feet after the first down. Takes it 2 yards beyond that to midfield. Jeff Settle finally making the tackle along with Reggie Pleasant. Good break. He had lots of time, Kevin.
He did have time. I mean, I was watching downfield. It was almost as if he's standing back there. He had to throw to. He couldn't decide who he was going to dump it off to. Seems like the game plan is to go short on Clemson, though. They've gone short. They had that one interception when Schofield went long, and now they're back to the short game.
First down just inside Clemson territory for Wake Forest. As the time is running down, they're going to let it run out. The siren sounding, ending the 3rd quarter of action. From Death Valley, it's Clemson 17, Wake Forest 10. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. So with the way this game is stacking up as we enter the 4th quarter, it's Clemson 17-10 over Wake Forest. A very important drive for Wake Forest right now. Ball placement just inside the midfield stripe. Ramshear. And a gain of 5 yards before Keith Williams puts the grabs to him. They're gaining good yardage from that tailback spot. Not spectacular yardage, but good consistent yardage, Kevin.
Having not seen Wake Forest prior to today, I expected them to come in here with a wide open offense, throwing the ball over the field. But what they really seem to be doing is just being as conservative and as balanced as they can be in order to stay in the game. They've accomplished that, but 4th quarter is time to win the game now. Already
145 yards through the air. Brim in for Ryan. But they go to the tailback, Ramshear and William Perry there, along with Scott.
We've seen Perry do this so many times. If you let him off, he'll take that gap towards the play. See number 66 takes the gap. Now watch his arm. That's almost a personal foul. Go a little high there, William, but Ramshear, talk about strength, just a little guy, twists off and picks up another 5 yards. And you got to give Ramshear, 6 foot, 180 pounds, a lot of credit.
3rd and 2 at the 42. Big 3rd down play, quarterback sneak. Schofield takes it over. Keith Williams finally makes the tackle. Schofield had a nice opening.
His eyes, I'm sure his eyes got pretty wide when he found out he had to run a little further than a yard. Watch him, he breaks loose here. Right now he's ready to dive, but he says, hey, uh-oh, I'm free, look out. And he gets a little bit of a love tap here late. Seems to me he's down. Davis gave him a little, don't forget about me, I'm here too.
First down from the 36-yard line, and a penalty flag goes immediately in the air. Not just one, but 2. Lined up offside.
The ball wasn't snapped. The ball was never snapped. It's not too much time. They're calling it a... Number 3 on the wideout, Dave Richmond, was offsides. He moved back and got set. Maybe they call a double shift. I think that's what they called, was a double shift. Richmond moved, and then they had the wing back move, so it was probably a double shift, which is a procedure penalty.
30 yards in penalties against Wake Forest. Doesn't really compare with the 48 yards, but they didn't need it right here. It's a 1st and 15 at the 41. Schofield getting plenty of time on the rollout. Throws into the coverage. Penalty flag down. Tim Ryan, the intended receiver. I'm sorry about the penalty flag. He threw a marker down. It wasn't the penalty flag.
That was tremendous coverage by Clemson on both receivers. There was a wide out on the far side of the field covered. Ryan had double coverage. There was just nowhere to throw. Schofield threw it anyway, but he's lucky that one wasn't picked off. Ryan looked like, as tall as he was, 6'3", might have had a shot at that.
Good pressure by James Robinson on the play, so it's another 15 yards to go for a first down on the 2nd down try from the 41. Schofield, and he's got his man. Oh, the ball loose, but he still gets it in there, and it's Richmond. David Richmond, the little senior from Greensboro, North Carolina. Brown making the tackle. The Bandit getting back there.
Let's take a look here. There's 2 receivers wide open on both sides. Richmond is the one that gets it, but to the left of your screen, there's another player, number 41, who was also wide open. That was James Brim. He was wide open on a post pattern coming the other way, and they picked Richmond. Schofield threw it to him, could have thrown it the other way.
168 yards through the air. Schofield has Wake Forest on the move, trying to tie this ball game up. From the 18, Schofield getting all kinds of blocking and a super catch for the touchdown. Ron Crum, a wide receiver from Florence, Kentucky. He's a senior. What a great thrill in his senior year.
This is the great timing pattern. Ron Crum ran a little post, cut in and then cut out, and right about now he's cutting in on the post. Schofield lets the ball go before he makes the cut, and that's why it's complete. This is great defense. Look at the defense here. And look at that pass. It hit him in the numbers, and believe me, that man had not cut before he threw the pass.
Danny Nolan in to try to tie this ball game up. Out of the hold of Al Dickens. He takes care of a difficult snap, and it goes up, and it's through the uprights. So credit Al Dickens with a fine job as a holder as Wake Forest ties this ball game up 17-7 with 12:34 remaining in the ball game. We'll be back in a moment. In Newsom's absence, we now have Foy White to kick off, and he tries to drill it.
Foy White kicking off.
Rulak from the 12. Rulak, a shifty runner, gets good field position to the 32-yard line before he's met there by Steve Lambert. 14 plays. Wake Forest moved the ball 85 yards, capped by the 18-yard touchdown pass, Schofield to Crum. And this ball game is all knotted up at 17-17. Stacy Driver and Braxton Williams, the backs out of the eye as Epley goes to the air right away to Dunn, and it was almost intercepted. Getting his hands on the ball was Hairston, Malcolm Hairston.
Remember back to the first quarter when Clemson's first two offensive drives began with passes. I'm sure they feel they can throw on first down against Wake, because Wake's going to be looking for the run. Clemson, a run-oriented team. Now that we're starting a new ball game tied at 17 with 12 minutes to go, you'll see Clemson probably go back to the original game plan, which was throw on first down.
Alley goes to the left. Charleston to the right as Epley goes straight back. Up into the pocket, decides to run with the ball, tuck it under. And he makes a gain of 4 yards out of the play before Tim Sally catches up with him.
Stacy Driver wide open on the play action fake. He ran a little hook in the middle of the field, and Epley was running right at him. Could have thrown it until he passed the line of scrimmage, of course, and maybe picked up the same amount of yardage without personal risk to himself.
So after the gain of 4 yards, actually it's a 3rd and 5 situation. Epley on the option takes it to the 40, 2 yards shy of the first down. Reggie McCummings and Danny Rocco combined for the tackle.
Epley took a tremendous hit by McCummings, the #1 tackler. He's limping off the field. McCummings just came up from the safety spot and leveled Epley. Always a danger. There's Mike Epley right there. When you run the option, you put your quarterback on the line.
Hatcher in 3 previous punts, averaging 45.3. That's a little better than his 44-yard average. And he's going to better that average right now as that ball rolls dead at the 11-yard line. Another great move from the punting game. Dale Hatcher in charge.
Well, Harry Newsom is not playing. He's injured a groin. He's been out. He's the punter for Wake Forest. The interesting story we alluded to at the start of the game is both Newsom and Hatcher went to the same high school in Cheraw, South Carolina. They were in the same class. Now, both are nationally ranked punters. Hatcher is 11th in the nation. I believe Newsom is 5th in the nation and leads the ACC. Who punted in high school? It was Hatcher. Newsom was the quarterback, only punted twice in his senior year.
Let's see what Schofield and the offense decide to do. Doherty and Clemens the backs. It's Clemens on the carry going wide. Good pursuit by the Tigers. Very little gain on the play. Give the tackle to Rod McSwain. Also Ray Brown, as you see him getting up off the ground, number 72.
Good defense by Clemson stringing that play out. It's important when you have a punt returner, let's go back a play, that he catch a punt like that. That ball was high enough. McCummings was the deep back. If he catches that ball, he catches it on the 22, 23-yard line. By letting it bounce, he puts his team inside the 10.
10 minutes and 37 seconds left in the ball game. It's tied 17-17. 2nd and 8. It goes to Ramsher. He's bottled up once again. So the holes that were opening up on the last drive aren't there now.
Well, field position has a lot to do with that, R2. You can do a lot more defensively when a team has 80 yards to go than you can when they're inside your 40-yard line. The intensity level of this game has been lacking throughout. The crowd is not really into the game. If they can't get up with the score tied 17-17 in the fourth quarter, then they're never going to get up.
Mack and Ray Brown combining for the tackle, giving Wake Forest now a 3rd and 6 from the 15. Schofield to the air once again. He's had pretty much his own way. Overshoots the receiver. It was intended for David Richmond. I'll tell you, with the way he throws the ball, Kevin, it's difficult to intercept.
Yeah, you have to be able to catch a bullet in order to intercept. That was the same pattern. There's Schofield there. That was the same pattern that they had such great success on late in that drive just a little while ago where they got the touchdown.
White is standing in his own end zone. Despite being in a reserve role, his first 2 punts averaged 48 yards. Billy Davis is at the 42, his own 42 waiting, and there you see a good shot of Foy White, a backup quarterback, stepping in for the injured Harry Newsom. Gets a nice high floating kick, and Davis makes the fair catch at the 46-yard line. So with the score, Clemson 17, Wake Forest 17. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. Epley, despite taking that vicious hit, is back at quarterback. Stacy Driver on the carry. Oh, but blocking that time. Stacy Driver getting a good avenue. Bruce Mark is credited with the tackle for Wake Forest.
We haven't heard much from Driver since the first quarter. Remember, he's the quick back, the one that hits the hole very quickly. When a defense gets tired and Driver's been resting most of the game, he can be a very effective weapon.
An 8-yard gain for Driver, who's carried 14 times. 2nd and 2 from the 46. Driver trying to pull his way that time is met at the 45, shy of the first down. Driver with 87 yards in this ball game. Baldinger made the tackle.
Tight end's responsibility here is to get out and get somebody, get the linebacker. Driver misses, Dunn misses, and then makes the tackle. Good tackle. That was Gary Baldinger. Good job as a middle guard getting in there, too. He helped Dunn with the tackle.
3rd down, 1 at the 45. Driver puts his head down. Keeps the feet driving, though, as he makes the first down by about a yard.
Stacy's just a little guy. We've talked many times, maybe 5'8", weighs 180, 178, 180 pounds. But it's very difficult to get below his head. And a guy like that can be very valuable when you're looking for a yard or two. He get real low and bang it out for you.
He led Clemson in rushing for the first time in his career last Saturday with 67 yards and 13 carries against North Carolina State. Driver once again makes a nice spin, even though he had arms around him. From the 42. Give him a gain of 4 yards. Nesbitt, Carl Nesbitt, a freshman from Kannapolis, North Carolina, making the tackle. There's a good shot of Stacy, number 21. He's up to 93 yards and 1 touchdown in this game now and 18 rushes. They gave him 3 on the play, so it's 2nd and 7 from the 39. Brulac out of the wing spot. Gets the first down, diving to the 30-yard line. Engel with a nice block.
No matter how much you change during the course of a season, a team generally carries the personality of its coach. And Dan Ford, through the years, has been a ball control offense coach. He likes to keep it on the ground. With the game in doubt inside 8 minutes, he's trying to pound it out.
Boyer split left, and we've got Williams to the right on the 1st and 10 from the 30. Stacy Driver bangs into his Kevin Mack, the fullback. I wonder if Stacy had his eyes open that time. He hit Mack so hard they go back to say, hey, I'm your teammate.
Let's take a look at this here. Look how far Wake Forest is out of the neutral zone. The reason for that is because they're not strong and they want to read. They're not as strong as the Clemson team. They want to read the play. So they come up. Good block, or I should say a good play defensively by the end, pushing Mack around, and Mack makes the stop. The end, Nesbitt. Nice play.
2nd and 9. Look at the hole for Stacy Driver. First down inside the 20. Danny Rocco finally made the stop, along with Littiger.
This is the character builder right there, Driver. When you scout the team, you have to scout the coach too. Dan Ford likes to run the ball, get him in a passing situation. Game is on the line. He'll try anything before he passes.
Williams to the far side. And we've got Boyer to the near side now on the 1st and 10 from the 19. Driver with 105 yards, and he gets more as he makes it to the 10-yard line, about a yard shy of another first down. Donald Johnson making the stop.
This play is designed to go where Stacy Driver takes it. Nothing up the middle. They close it down on the right side, and Rocco has to come, or should I say Donald Johnson comes to make the tackle. He's a defensive back. He had to come from way outside to get Driver.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. This drive eating up the clock as well. Game tied 17-17. Driver on the sweep. Gets inside and gets the first down. Taking it right about the 6-yard line. First down, Clemson. Ronnie Burgess that time. Give him the credit for the tackle, as Clemson now is knocking on the door. Malcolm Hairston is the Wake Forest player slow to get up. Came into this ball game with 50 tackles on the year. Stacy Driver in 22 carries, Kevin, has 118 yards.
Most of that, until this drive, came early in the game. Driver did not do much in the 2nd and 3rd quarter when Wake Forest was bringing themselves back into the game and Clemson was doing other things offensively. But again, when the game is in doubt, you can expect to see your best people doing what you do best, and that's what Clemson is doing. Hairston, the linebacker walking off the field for Wake Forest, is the best of the linebackers for Wake Forest. As Art said, he's a pretty tough cookie. 50 hits on the year coming into this game, and they need a guy like that in the defense at this time in the game.
So they get 4 tries now for that touchdown. 1st and goal at the 6. Braxton Williams at fullback. Roy Williams in motion. Stacy Driver met at the line, but gets inside the 5-yard line for a gain of a couple of yards. Tony Scott making the tackle along with Tim Sally. The offensive line really getting off the ball well there, because at the time he was hit, he was already a gain of a yard, and then fine reaction by the Wake Forest defense. Gets tougher to get off that neutral zone and read now, doesn't it, Kevin?
Yes. Well, you don't read in defense, in goal line defense, you just come. Kevin Mack is in the game. He was not in on the last play, and he's in there for blocking.
Driver down to the 1. So it'll be a 3rd. And probably 1 yard to go for a touchdown. McCummings and Johnson combining for the tackle.
We've had a lot of these today. They ran that play out of the eye, off the block of Kevin Mack on the corner. Driver follows Mack. Whichever way Kevin goes, Stacy looks for a hole on either side of him. And make no mistake about it, Mack, as good a runner as he is, he's equally as effective as a blocker. And that man, Stacy Driver, knows it.
Bullard is in motion. They put him in blocking situations near the goal line. Driver goes up into the air, touchdown. So Stacy Driver, instead of trying to pull through the pile up at the goal line, took to the air for the touchdown.
And when we see the replay, you'll see who he went behind, directly behind, and then over Kevin Mack, who made the big blow, the big block at the point of contact, the line of scrimmage. And now the crowd's getting into it.
Stacy Driver on the 2-yard run for the touchdown. Pauling, and to try once again for the extra point. Nice drive by Clemson, 54 yards in 12 plays. Pauling's kick is up, and it is good. So with 4:13 remaining in the ball game, 24-17 they lead.
Driver carried the ball 11 out of the last 12 plays, and of course the big one. That was Mack in the right of your screen making a block. Driver goes directly over Mack. In fact, probably makes contact with him as he goes into the end zone. Extremely tough to stop that one.
Igwe getting set to kick off with Clemson, a 24-17 lead, 4:13 remaining. There you see McKellar, Ira McKellar, set to try to run it back. He might take this one. He's 3 yards deep, but then he decides not to. Let's check out that touchdown play now, Kevin.
Let's watch the offensive line and see how well they do against the tired Wake Forest defense. They get up and under, all of them making good contact. Then you've got Bullard, Mack, and finally the man with the ball up over the home as his driver. They had everybody in on that. Even Bullard, the wing, came in, made a block in front of Mack.
What an example of surging strength with everybody just pile driving in there. Wake Forest now tries to get back into it. Delay to the tailback, and it's Clemens on the carry.
For a passing team, 4 minutes is a great deal of time. Schofield, of course, one of the leaders. We've talked about it in the ACC, in the nation. A great passer. There's plenty of time for Wake Forest to get back in it. But what about Clemson? They're behind to NC State last week. They come out, ram the ball really down the throat of a very fine Wolfpack defense. They did the same thing in the fourth quarter against Wake Forest. They run the ball right down the field for a touchdown. 2nd and 6 from the 23. Schofield dropping straight back. As you can see, it's tipped up into the air, and he cannot hold on to it. Henry Walls tipped it, and Ronald Watson had a shot at it. Number 31, Watson. Well, this may be the best hit of the day, only it's Clemson against Clemson. Schofield looking should not have thrown this ball. Clemson had it sniffed out. Ball tips off the receiver's hand. Here's Watson with a shot at it, but Walls puts his head right in the numbers. He's used to doing that, being a defensive player. And Watson saying, wait a second, Henry. I would have had that one. With 3:36 remaining on the clock, not only the touchdown an important factor points-wise, but they took 5 minutes and 34 seconds off the clock in that drive. Schofield out of the backfield. He goes to his fullback, Doherty, who's met by Jeff Settle. That's Doherty. You know what he reminds me of? He's the type of guy, turns up in pro football, runs for 80 yards a game, turns into a star, and everybody says, well, where did he play? Where did he come from? I've never seen him before. Here's a kid, can run, can catch, and they only use him when they need him. Fine ball player. We've got to prevent the situation now for Clemson. Only one linebacker in the ball game. Schofield gets it to his man, Dwayne Owens. Owens out of bounds. He's got the first down, though, at the 44-yard line. So still with 3:04 remaining in the ball game, Wake Forest moving the ball into good field position. Defensive coverage, I think, by the Tigers today, Clemson has been excellent. They've played very, very well defensively, and even the receivers that have caught passes have been covered very well. That play particularly, the receiver was covered adequately. Throw was excellent. 206 yards for Wake Forest through the air. 18 of 27. Schofield's looking for his 19th completion. Passes underneath the coverage once again. Not quite good enough for the first down, but it is an 8-yard play on the first down. Terrence Mack, the bandit, making the tackle on Dwayne Owens. Clemson has gone to 5 defensive backs. They've got 1 linebacker in coverage now, and of course, we haven't seen Clemson in a prevent too much this year because they simply haven't needed it. They haven't been behind or close this late in the game. 2:37 remaining. Fourth quarter. Clemson 24-17. Schofield on the 2nd and 1. Hits his fullback once again. Gets the first down over the 40. Down to the 38-yard line. Childers making the tackle on Doherty. Saw Walls in your picture there, number 55. He's the lone linebacker, and what Schofield's doing, he's reading Walls. If Walls drops one way, he's looking for a swing man to take up that spot that Walls vacates and to hit him. And this is very similar to what Duke did late in the game, driving down the field. 1st and 10 from the 38 with 2:09 on the clock. Schofield takes quite a hit and great pressure that time by Mack. Terrence Mack, the bandit on the run, and Richard Diamond, the pass was intended for, but Schofield really didn't have time to get an accurate throw away. There you see his statistics. 20 out of 30, 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. One of those interceptions came on a tip pass. The bandit, remember, is a defensive end, a defensive back, a linebacker, and able to rush. So Terrence Mack, you may see him. He may play a key part in this drive. Pickett, Robinson, Perry, and Brown. The up front people. Goes to Clemens. Clemens breaks out of the pack. Gets the first down. Still on his feet. Down to the 25-yard line. Henry Walls finally making the stop. So a missed tackle hurt them that time. 2 missed tackles. This is a double screen. It's a double screen for Wake Forest. There's a man on the short side of the field here screening, but he goes the other way to Clements, and 2 missed tackles there, one by Pickett as he cuts inside and then picks up the yardage for a first down. That's good effort there.
And the other one by Watson. First and 10 at the 25. And the tailback gains a yard. That's Clemens, Topper Clemens, a sophomore. Eldridge Milton making the tackle, holding on and doing a nice job of securing the play.
Minute 20 to go in the game. That's a good call. Clemson getting tough, getting ferocious, aggressive, get them coming towards the offensive line. It's easier to just turn them, maybe create a hole. Really a credit to their defense that they were able to stop that.
Ryan split right, Richmond to the left. Devane in at nose guard. As Schofield comes straight back, here comes Devane. He gets rid of the ball, and not holding onto it was Dwayne Owens, just off his fingertips. And it might have been the pressure of Devane that meant the difference of a couple of inches.
Well, that's right. It was a tremendous pressure by Devane, but a great effort by Schofield getting the ball out there. Owens had both hands on it, maybe should have caught it.
That might have been interesting if we'd have seen it on field level, if we were down there actually playing instead of the press box, to see how high he had to throw to go over Devane, if that was the case on the angle.
No, it's too dangerous down there, Art. It's better up here.
3rd and 10 now. Big play. 59 seconds on the ticker. Schofield, protection, goes to the reliable fullback once again, down to the 16-yard line. Weiserick, I should say the tight end.
That's a great catch by Weiserick.
Childers making the tackle. There you see him there taking the helmet off. Ooh.
Let's take a look at this. Weiserick coming across the field. Number 93. You know he's good. His name's Kevin.
Oh,
gets his hands up. Tremendous coverage by Childers, and still Weiserick pulls it down. And I'll tell you, that's just a fine catch.
245 yards for Schofield. Does this remind you of another game this year?
Yeah, the Duke game. We talked about Schofield not throwing the ball as much as he usually does. He averages 235 yards. He's past his average.
Remember, Bennett in that Duke game had very few yards in the first quarter.
Remember a man named Robinson in the Duke game sticking his hand up. With Duke 4th down, goal to go on the 7-yard line. We're getting down to a very similar situation. 49 seconds to go. It's a 4th about 2 on the 17-yard line. And I wonder if Al Groh saw the Duke films. Just whatever you do, grab a hold of Robinson's arms.
49 seconds remaining in the ball game. Clemson 24-17.
Look out for Doherty here.
Doherty's number 35, the fullback. On a 4th and 2 from the 17. We have the whistle blown. Hankey in the air, and it's against Wake Forest. That's got to take some of the air out of the sail for the Wake Forest Ball Club. They've only been penalized 35 yards, but what a crucial time right now. On a 4th and 2.
Well, penalties have not been a problem all year for this team. They've really played penalty-free most of the year. This is a tough spot to get one.
Danny Ford on the sideline. The officials explaining to him. I wish they'd explain to us. We've received no sign from them.
Throughout the year, they've only had 35 penalties for 265 yards, and truly there are teams that do worse than that in just 2 or 3 games. We're not getting any signal.
Danny Ford's on the phone, maybe up to the press box. That might be it. They might want to reset the clock.
Well, that play was going to Doherty. Doherty released to the top side, and in fact, Schofield had cocked his arm. He was going to throw the ball.
With the penalty flag before the snap.
I don't think the clock was working.
No, the clock was. It went down to 45 seconds, so the clock operator went with the play, did not see the flag before the snap of the ball, so they put it back to 49 seconds where it was before the play started.
Okay, never mind that then. Procedure on Wake Forest. So from 4th and 2, it'll be 4th and 7.
Here it is. We've got Ryan to the far side and David Richmond to the near side. Schofield goes to the short man, and right there, anticipating the play, Henry Walls. You called the play, Kevin, but Walls also was looking for it. Doherty was blanketed.
Well, if I can call it, you know they can call it. That, in fact, was the play when they had the penalty, and I can't believe they went right back to it. Neither can Henry. Let's take a look. Doherty's the lone back. See him, 35. He'll release. Now he hooks up. Maybe he shouldn't hook up short there. This is a great tackle by Walls. Doherty's 230 pounds, and Henry's just a little freshman. 205 pounds. Just a youngster. Had no trouble knocking him down.
To protect the lead with 42 seconds on the clock. There had been a whistle blown up front. Clemson 24-17. Let's take another look.
All right, from the end zone. Now watch number 35 behind the quarterback. I got to make a suggestion about Robinson here in a minute. He releases to the left of your screen. Schofield looks right at him, and Walls has him one-on-one. That's man coverage in that defense on the fullback. Now Robinson, you saw go into the neutral zone and back out. Most centers are taught in that situation, when the defense crosses a neutral zone, hike it immediately, no matter what the count is. It's an automatic penalty.
4 seconds on the clock. That'll be it. There's the cannon that goes off to end the ball game. With the score, Clemson 24, Wake Forest 17. We'll pause now for a word from your local station. The fans filtering out of Memorial Stadium here in Death Valley. As you see there, the final score, Clemson 24-17 over Wake Forest. Was not an easy game for Clemson. The difference in the ball game, a leaping dive by Stacy Driver from the 2-yard line. Look at the blocking up front. Number 27, Kevin Mack. Bullard, number 8 there, making the block. And Stacy decides it's time to go over and into the end zone for the deciding points. 24-17. That capped a 12-play, 54-yard drive. And Kevin Kiley, it was reminiscent of their opening scoring drive, which went some 80 yards. Very effective use of Stacy Driver throughout the entire series.
Well, I think it's significant that Clemson, when in trouble, goes to their strength. The strength of their team is the rushing game. We mentioned during the broadcast, 11 out of 12 plays, Stacy Driver carried the ball in that final drive, and they were able to get it in and get that leading touchdown. But they weren't out of trouble yet. Wake Forest, a great passing team. They have tremendous success moving the ball, have all year behind Schofield and the great receivers and the running backs. I think Wake Forest had good success running the ball. They run the ball to set up the pass. It worked well today. Clemson's defense just a little too tough near the end of the game when they had to be.
And for the second time in 2 weeks, the Clemson defense really getting tough and holding true. The inspiration just seemed to flow with inside them.
Well, it's interesting that you want your strength on the field. You want the unit that you have the most success with on the field when the game is in doubt. It happened exactly as it should have for Clemson. They were at home in Death Valley. Their offense had the opportunity. They drove the ball down on the ground and scored. And then, of course, the heart of the team is the defense, always, in Clemson. And they were on the field when the game was in doubt. And the heart of the defense, of course, is the freshman Henry Walls, number 55. And he was the player, the leading tackler on the team. He goes against the strength of the offense. The big
Schofield
fullback.
back to pass, as you see here.
And Doherty and Walls with the great hit, one-on-one. He made the final tackle. It was 4th and 7. They were short on the first down. Wake Forest goes down.
Clemson victorious. Next week, we've got a great one on ESPN and your Raycom network. North Carolina versus Clemson. Art Ekman, along with Kevin Kiley, thanking everyone and thanking you for being with us.